Life has a strange way of teaching us lessons we never asked for, and one of those lessons is about love, attraction, and the hidden struggles behind what the world often sees as beauty. Because while society tends to place the most attractive people on a pedestal, the truth is often the opposite of what we imagine, and that truth is this: the more attractive a woman is, the less she often has a chance to experience what we call true love. Because beauty, while it opens doors, also invites illusions. It attracts admirers, but not always those with pure intentions. And what may look like a blessing on the outside can sometimes feel like a silent curse on the inside. Think about it deeply for a moment, because when someone is considered extremely beautiful, the world begins to see them not as a soul, but as an image, as a prize, as an achievement, as a possession to be won. And when people approach them, it's often not for who they really are, but for the story they can tell others, for the validation they feel by being close to someone society admires. And this creates a barrier, a wall of insincerity, where compliments sound sweet but are hollow, and where love looks bright but feels empty. And behind the smile of that woman, behind the flawless face and the admiring eyes she receives, there's often a heart quietly wondering if anyone will ever truly see her. And this is not just psychology, it's reality. Because human beings are wired to chase what looks valuable, but we rarely stop to ask why we chase it. And in the chase, we forget the person, the soul, the inner world. And that is why so many beautiful women carry within them a secret loneliness, a silent longing, a question that echoes late at night. Will anyone ever love me for me? Not for the beauty, not for the image, not for the status, but for the soul that cries, that laughs, that dreams, that fears, just like everyone else. Psychology tells us that attraction is a double-edged sword, because while it brings attention, it also brings projection. And people project their fantasies, their desires, their insecurities onto the attractive, treating them not as human beings with flaws and needs, but as characters in a dream. And when reality does not match the fantasy, the disappointment turns to blame, and the beautiful person is left carrying the weight of expectations that were never theirs to hold in the first place. The paradox is painful. The more beautiful she is, the more people want her. But the less they want to know her, the more they desire her presence. But the less they value her essence, the more they admire the surface. But the less they care to dive into the depths. And so what looks like abundance is in fact scarcity. What looks like fortune is in fact a hidden famine of genuine love. If you ever wonder why some of the most admired, photographed, and adored women in the world still speak of heartbreak, of betrayal, of loneliness, the answer lies here. Because beauty blinds, not just the ones who look, but also the one who possesses it, making it hard to separate love from infatuation, respect from desire, commitment from convenience. And in this confusion, hearts break, not once, but over and over again. And yet, the story does not end here, because within the struggle lies a powerful lesson, a reminder that true love is never about appearances, it is never about the eyes, it is always about the soul. And the only love that heals is a love that sees, the love that listens, the love that accepts, the love that does not fade when beauty fades, the love that does not change when age changes, the love that remains because it was never about the face. It was always about the heart. Beauty is powerful, but power always comes with a price. And the price for many women who carry great physical beauty is the hidden loneliness of never truly knowing if the love they are given is real, because when someone is constantly admired for their looks, it becomes almost impossible to separate genuine affection from shallow attraction. And in that constant uncertainty, the heart begins to doubt, and trust becomes harder and harder to give. Imagine being surrounded by people who tell you how amazing you look, how much they desire you, how much they want to be with you, yet at the same time you feel unseen, almost invisible, because no one is asking about your fears, no one is listening to your quiet thoughts, no one is paying attention to your silence, and instead they're only chasing the image, the perfection, the dream that they think you are, but not the reality of who you truly are. And that reality is often fragile, sensitive, human, and longing for connection just like anyone else. Psychologists often talk about something called a halo effect, which means when people see someone attractive, they automatically assume that person also has many other positive traits, such as kindness, intelligence, and honesty. But the danger of the halo effect is that it replaces true discovery with assumption. It replaces curiosity with fantasy, and it replaces genuine love with shallow admiration. And so the beautiful woman may walk into a room and feel all eyes on her, yet she may, walk out of the same room with no one truly knowing her soul. And that is the deepest kind of loneliness. And let's not forget that beauty fades and time is undefeated. So if someone only loves a woman for her appearance, that love is destined to wither with age. But if someone loves her essence, her soul, her character, then that love grows stronger with every wrinkle, with every gray hair, with every season of life. Because true love does not fear time. It embraces time. It celebrates time. It survives time. This is why many women who are not conventionally considered the most beautiful often experience deeper and more lasting relationships. Because when people fall in love with them, it is not because of an image that will fade, but because of an essence that will endure. And this reveals one of the greatest truths of human connection, that what sustains love is not the eyes, but the heart, not the appearance, but the soul, not the fantasy, but the reality of two imperfect people choosing to stay, choosing to grow, choosing to love despite everything. So when we say the more attractive a woman is, the less likely she is to experience true love, we are not insulting beauty. We are uncovering a paradox. We are pointing to a reality that is both sad and profound. Because beauty may attract many, but it filters out the few who are truly genuine. And in a crowd of admirers, the sincere ones often get lost. And the woman is left wondering if she will ever be loved for who she really is, not for the mask she wears, not for the light she reflects, not for the fantasy she represents, but for the soul that simply wants to be understood. And if you are listening to this now, let this message be a reminder that whether you are considered beautiful by the world or not, your worth does not lie in a mirror, your value does not lie in compliments, your significance does not lie in the eyes of others. It lies in the quiet truth of your being, in the depth of your soul, in the kindness you give, in the love you share, in the patience you show, and in the faith you keep, because beauty may open doors, but character builds homes. And in the end, what matters most is not who admired you, but who truly stayed by your side. The world teaches us to chase what shines, but what shines is not always what lasts. And so when a woman is praised for her beauty, when doors are open for her simply because of her appearance, she quickly learns that attention is not the same as affection, that desire is not the same as devotion, and that attraction is not the same as love. And this painful awareness creates a storm inside her heart, a storm of doubt, suspicion, and sometimes even self-blame, because she wonders if she will ever be enough beyond the surface, if she will ever be valued for more than what her reflection shows. And here lies the psychological trap. The more attention she gets for her looks, the less effort people make to go deeper, because they assume beauty itself is enough, and they do not take the time to explore the mind, the heart, the dreams, and the fears of the woman behind the beauty. And when someone finally tries to love her truly, she may struggle to believe it, because her past experiences have taught her to expect disappointment, to expect that love will turn shallow, to expect that devotion will fade when appearances change. This creates a cycle, a loop where trust becomes difficult, where every kind word feels suspicious, where every promise feels temporary. And so she begins to guard her heart more fiercely than ever. And though the world sees her smile, though the world sees her elegance, though the world sees her glow, few see the walls she has built, walls that were not created out of pride, but out of pain, walls that were not created out of vanity, but out of survival. We live in a society that glorifies the image, that sells the idea that the most beautiful people are the happiest. But reality tells a different story, because happiness is never a result of admiration. It is a result of authenticity. And when you're admired but never truly known, when you're desired but never deeply understood, when you're followed but never truly loved, happiness becomes elusive, like water slipping through your fingers, and the woman who seems to have everything begins to feel as though she has nothing. Psychologists remind us again and again that human beings crave depth, we crave connection, we crave meaning. And yet our culture often teaches us to chase surfaces, to chase appearances, to chase perfection. And this contradiction is the reason why so many beautiful women experience broken relationships, unfulfilled marriages, and friendships that crumble. Because if the foundation of love is built on beauty alone, then the structure of love will collapse with time. But if the foundation of love is built on character, honesty, kindness, and respect, then that structure can withstand any storm. And so, the lesson is not just for women who carry great beauty, but for all of us. Because the truth is that appearances deceive. They lure us into thinking we know someone when in reality, we have only seen a reflection. And until we learn to look deeper, until we learn to see the soul beneath the skin, until we learn to value essence over image. We will continue to confuse attraction with love, and we will continue to break hearts, including our own. The irony of life is that sometimes the people who seem to have the most options, the most admirers, the most chances at love, are the very people who struggle most to find it, because a flood of attention hides the absence of sincerity, and in the noise of admiration, the voice of true love is drowned out, faint, almost impossible to hear. And this is why so many beautiful women find themselves lonely, even in crowded rooms, even in relationships, even in marriages, because being loved. For how you look is not the same as being loved for who you are, and that difference makes all the difference in the world. There is something profoundly heartbreaking about the way society builds illusions, because when the world sees a beautiful woman, it does not see her struggles. It does not see her sleepless nights. It does not see her unanswered questions. Instead, it sees perfection, and in that illusion of perfection, people assume she has everything: love, happiness, security, admiration, when in truth, she may be silently carrying emptiness, quietly longing for someone to notice her soul, hoping for love that does not fade when the makeup is gone, when the lights are off, when the crowd has disappeared. And this illusion becomes heavy, because when others assume your life is perfect, they stop offering you compassion, they stop offering you patience, they stop offering you understanding, and so the most admired woman in the room often becomes the most misunderstood, the one with the least support, the one who feels the loneliest, because her beauty has created a barrier instead of a bridge, a mask instead of a mirror, a prison instead of a gift. And in that prison, her heart quietly whispers, "Will anyone ever see me?" Psychology explains that loneliness is not the absence of people. It is the absence of connection. And connection is only born when people see beyond the surface, when they choose to go deeper, when they choose to listen, when they choose to value the person behind the appearance. And without that depth, all the attention in the world feels meaningless, because applause cannot replace affection, desire cannot replace devotion, and admiration cannot replace intimacy. And so, even when she is surrounded by admirers, her heart may remain untouched, unfulfilled, unseen. The truth is, beauty can be both a blessing and a burden, and the more extreme it is, the more complicated life becomes. Because when people fall in love with beauty, they're often falling in love with an idea, with a fantasy, with an image they created in their own mind. And the moment reality breaks that image, the moment flaws appear, the moment imperfection shows, the illusion shatters and the relationship ends, leaving her heart broken once again, teaching her that what she thought was love was nothing more than a temporary attraction dressed as forever. This cycle can be devastating, because repeated heartbreak does not just wound the heart, it reshapes it. It teaches it to expect betrayal. It teaches it to expect abandonment. It teaches it to expect disappointment. And so a woman who begins her journey open to love may, after many painful lessons, begin to close her heart, to doubt her worth, to wonder if she is meant to be loved at all. And that doubt becomes the heaviest weight she carries, heavier than the admiration, heavier than the fame, heavier than the attention, because nothing in life feels heavier than the question, am I truly lovable? And yet, within this very pain lies the seed of wisdom, because once she realizes that being loved for beauty alone will never satisfy her, she begins to seek something deeper. She begins to raise her standards. She begins to search not for one who praises her appearance, but for the one who values her essence, not for the one who chases her body, but for the one who cherishes her soul, not for the one who desires her today, but for the one who chooses her every day. And that shift is powerful, because it transforms pain into clarity, heartbreak into strength, and illusions into truth.